understanding what you're supposed to do and getting comfortable with it?
I'm not gonna lie, at first I was kind of lost. I didn't know what was expected of me, but once I kind of start getting in the flow and watching film, it kind of developed over time. So far I feel pretty comfortable. I still gotta learn a lot, so just taking my time with it.
What's different here than other stops that they ask you to do?
Say it again?
What's different here than some of your other stops and what they ask you to do?
Well, I mean, I've had a lot of success at Harkham, Manhattan. Like I started at both schools. Even at DePaul, I was starting a few games. So all of that kind of came natural to me. But here, like I literally have to work to earn my minutes. I have to work to earn my spot and all that different stuff. So like it doesn't come as easy here. And I think it's a perfect challenge for me, honestly.
Paul, you were talking about the journey you've been through, the number of schools that you've gone through, and now you get to this final chapter, so to speak. One last year. What goes through your mind as that chapter is beginning to it's going to start tomorrow night?
It's surreal. I mean, I think about it every day, honestly. One of the GAs here told me on our first practice, he said this is going to be your last practice of college basketball.
Yeah.
And when he said that, like, that kind of like woke me up a little bit, and it made me realize like this is my last go around, so I have to give it my all, or I'm going to look back regretting not giving my best. So it's definitely a lot to think about, but I realize that thinking too much is only going to make things worse. So I'm just going to do what I do best, play my hardest, and leave it all out there.
Manhattan, right? DePaul, now West Virginia. You've had to acclimate yourself to 3 different places. What are some of the challenges that you have to go through to try to fit in with a team, particularly as quickly as you have?
I think that's probably one of the main challenges that I've had, as far as like getting acclimated all over again. It was easy during AAU, but like when you're in college, like things are a lot more concrete. But something that I've struggled with was trying to learn the system, learn the plays. That's something that I've always struggled with. But I realized that one thing about me is I'm very process driven. I may not get it at the beginning, and I may feel a little insecure in the beginning process, but I know, and even here, like I was struggling with the plays and all that different stuff, and now I feel more secure about like how I feel about the offense and stuff like that, because I know to myself, like I'm process driven. I have to go through the process. Of course, it's not gonna be easy to start, but eventually it's gonna come to me.
Whenever you move on, you have to have an open mind.
Right.
It's clearly here you had that open mind and say, okay, well, I got to accept different ways of doing it, because I'm sure what you were taught at Manhattan was different, maybe a little bit than DePaul and what they're teaching here, right?
Definitely. I mean, I have to give credit to the coaches that have coached me in the past. They've definitely built me up to be the player that I am today. So I have a solid foundation, I think. But I just look at it as a new step and a new challenge. So, I've learned a lot through my experiences, but it only comes with more challenges. So I look at it as just that.
What's the biggest challenge been for you here?
Here, I would definitely learn the plays.
More sets? Is it more offensive sets?
Well, so for like, we do a lot of different motion stuff.
Okay.
And I think the thing about Hug is that he expects you to just be a player, do what you do best, And I've never really had that, I'm a player, but I don't really, I'm very structured. I do well within the structure, within the system. I think that's why I had a lot of success at Manhattan. It's because when something was ran, I know exactly what to do, what angle to cut, and etc. But when it comes to like our system here, there's so many different options, there's so many different things you can do, to the point where I was like, I'm overwhelmed by the options. I don't know what to do, and etc. So, once I relaxed, it's taking me a lot of time, but I just kind of have to develop the comfortability with it. So I just kind of let things be comfortable. I'm allowing myself to be more comfortable with making mistakes and discovering who I am as an actual player, which I've never had the opportunity to do.
Last thing here with DePaul, a lot of high ball screen stuff. Is that what they did? A lot of? You see a lot of that today in college basketball itself.
Yeah, I think at DePaul I discovered that I was actually really good at setting screens, faking screens and all that different stuff. So yeah, that's definitely at DePaul. I mean, we do a lot of the screen stuff here, so
So that applies here?
They're basically just apply what I've learned
Okay.
with the ball and bring it here.
Speaking of volleyball, any of that transferable offense, defense?
You said
Is any
volleyball?
of that transferable for your offense, defense, the skill to play volleyball?
Yeah, definitely. I played volleyball my senior year in high school, and like at first, when you first see me playing basketball, you would think like this kid probably not going to college. This kid's not going anywhere with basketball. But playing volleyball has probably been the best thing I could have done for myself. For basketball though, because it worked on my hand-eye coordination, it worked on my footwork, it worked on my timing, all this different stuff. So it's weird that I was able to apply that to the game of basketball. Because like now I'm looking at somebody coming to the basket, that's just the volleyball going up. So I'm going straight for the ball, not worried about who's coming to dunk it, you know what I'm saying? So it definitely helped.
Have you ever played for a coach that demands rebounding as much as Bob Huggins?
Yeah, I mean, at DePaul.
Okay, it was
I mean, they
similar
saw
there?
how well of a rebounder I was,
Okay.
and they said, we need you to do that more, you know? So also at Manhattan too, like I was able to snatch a couple boards, and once the coach realized that this is what I'm good at, he wants me to do that more, so yeah.
I mean, he values it. I mean, whenever he talks about it after the game, usually that's the first place he looks or talks about it.
Yeah.
Is that carrying over to you guys understanding how much he values rebounding?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
We had a scrimmage against Dayton. I was not weak side, and all I heard was the buzzer, so I got out. And then that's when it kind of clicked. You know, I was saying before that, you know, I was able to start at Manhattan, start at Harcum, start here and there. There's no room for mistakes with Bob Huggins, you know, and that's a perfect challenge for me because now I have to come with laser focus. So I know every time to get weak side to get those rebounds. So.
Does that seem to be the trip on the treadmill the most when that's
Definitely. Yeah. Those trips are not fun.
Going back, if you don't mind, you didn't pick up basketball until late. Were you volleyball up until then, or did you switch back and forth? How'd that go?
I didn't play any sports from 7th through 11th grade year, mid 11th grade year, and to what some people believe was random, I just decided to play basketball, and then very raw to the sport, didn't know much about it, didn't even know how to play honestly, and then I think all I could do was dunk, and then once I started playing, I was uncomfortable at first, and then I realized that over time, like I was getting better. So that's when I developed like me being process driven. So once I kept playing in sports, and once I kept, you know, I also did track as well. Once I, you know, found myself within the structure of a sport, I was able to develop, you know, both as a person and as an athlete.